one.
Hey, Philip
Hey,
here.
how's it going?
Pretty
We have Philip here. Well, tell them what did you do, Philip?
I got 20th place at Salem OR Regionals.
Accidentally got
got my invite to Nationals.
Hell yeah.
Playing one of my favorite decks. I was playing Salamangreat today. It performed really well. I played against a couple meta decks. I mostly played against weird shit, which didn't hurt. I played against Fiendsmith U-Bell twice. I drew once, 2-0'd the other time. And then I played against like weird shit.
What were your losses today?
I lost to Shifter.
Yeah, that's about it.
And Harmonize Your Gradial. We'll get into that.
Yu-Gi-Oh players are very talented at finding like weird FTKs.
Anyways. Shifter is the only thing this deck really loses to. So I played a bunch of fucking starters. So I was playing Terror Top package. So 3 Terror Top, 1 Tuck
One of
board.
my favorite cards.
I love this card for Salamangreat. It's full combo on its own if you play Salamangreat of Fire. As well, you don't use your normal summon, so you can do some really funny ways to play around Nib where you like hold your normal summon like the whole fucking
Now
turn.
the question that all people want: did you normal summon a hand trap to make full combo?
I did. One round, I went Terror Top, and he hand trapped Terror Top, and the rest of my hand was hand traps, and then I normal summoned Ghost Ogre, and I overlaid, and I went full combo.
Hell yeah.
Which is really funny. Of course, 3 Circle, 3 Gazelle, 3 Fire, 3 Mining. So
did you see Gazelle today?
A couple of
only
times.
8 ways.
A couple times. Yeah, so the thing about this deck, there's a lot of... I'm gonna be as nice as possible. There's a lot of salad boomers out here that are just holding on to 2-card combos, things like that. This deck has a lot of good 1-card combos, especially when you play Terror Top as well. This is enough. Like the rest of my salad engine, I didn't play very much, and I think I would also cut even more salad cards. But I'll get into that. Yeah, these cards great. You see one of these, they all work together too. So if you see Terror Top plus Fire, great. You see Silent Mining plus Terror Top. All this stuff works well together. Circle's great too, where you can just hold on to it. They draw you, you chain it. They pop your normal summon. You can do stuff with it. That kind of thing. So these all just work really well. The best part about this deck is your 1-card combos and your 2-card combos flow together pretty well, and they also help with, like, you get hand trapped, you fill in the blanks there.
Yeah, it's like almost like we're Snake Eyes.
Yeah, it's like Snake Eyes. Yeah, I got a couple of cards. Speaking of Snake Eyes, this guy is popular but bad. He's kind of fucking terrible. He came up one time today, and it was because I drew him and I sent Spinny off of him, and the guy's like, "What the fuck does this do?" I'm like, "It would be popular, but it's bad." I played 2 Spinny. This is my really controversial salad opinion. A lot of people like 3 Spinny. It does not work very well with Terror Top. Terror Top plus Spinny does pretty much nothing. It doesn't really add to the combo. A lot of the time I sided 1 out. I think I would play this deck with 1 Spinny. I am not joking. Especially with Terror Top, Fire, things like that. I also am thinking about putting Debug back in the deck. You really don't need multiples of these. The grand game with this card is not really very real. Grand game with this card, Jack Jaguar, is insane. This is like one of your best cards. Send this to play around Nib all the time. I did not get Nibbed at all today. A couple of times that my opponent did have Nib, I played around it. And they just didn't end up activating it.
It's the Snake Eyes effect. Nobody was on Nib because of Snake Eyes, but everybody else lost to Nib because of Snake Eyes.
Weasel, this card's great. Codasol, so I'm playing the Codasol stuff. This is pretty good. If you notice, I don't have debug, so the way you get into this is with extra card with Horse Prince. Or you can also search it off Silent Mining. I never did that. But this card is very good. Pyro Phoenix is very good. People that don't play this, that's totally fine. There's different versions of this deck. This is great. Especially if you're playing debug, you can search yourself debug. Good, just a reasonable extender. Weasel. This is like one of the best cards in the deck that isn't a starter. Just because this is the way like you could abuse Promethean Princess with this card, people that don't know.
Which is cool.
Will. This card's just good grind game. I never did the summon 4 because it can target a relinked Salamangreat. Yep. Summon up to 4. I never did that.
Full charge.
But there are a lot of times where you just like, I already searched Roar this game and we're grinding. I'm going to just play this face up, and then I'm just going to summon back guys every single turn. The first effect of this can summon back links, so like I would always have like two plus Raging Phoenixes in rotation. The Brick, I only drew it once today, so that didn't hurt. And then Roar, I don't play Rage main. Roar is just like, a lot of decks just don't know how to beat this card. You have this card backed up with hand traps or any other like layered disruptions. This just like, you get to go interrupt you and they go no, and you go no again. That's the best part about counter traps. Those are the rest of the salad cards. And then this is
the real deck.
Yeah, now the real deck. So we played way too many hand traps. We played 18 hand traps today. 43 cards. I played 3 Ghost Ogre. This, every time I drew it, didn't do anything, so I've had this card out a lot. The idea behind this is really good to draw as your 6 hand trap. It beats DSE Array. It's good against Tenpai. It's good against Ubel. The one time I did activate
against Appaloosa too. Sometimes.
Yeah, Appaloosa too. They go Appaloosa.
They don't make it with IP. But...
Yeah, I got Appaloosa once today and it didn't matter.
But you know what else beats Appaloosa? Konami.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is under old ban list. That isn't effective until tomorrow. So we're basically playing the dead format today. But yeah, the only other time this came up was, like I mentioned, it's Terra Top, normal this, off to the races. Imperm, Mourner, Ash, Veiler, Nib, 18. I mean, this is just Yu-Gi-Oh! You just got to do this. Nib, I nib like twice today. It's pretty reasonable, especially because I'm playing 18 hand traps. I'm like 66% to draw 2 or more, that kind of thing. A lot of the time I was drawing exactly 2. The games where I drew 3, it was just, you just win.
Would you probably in the future like cut something like Ogre for crossouts?
I probably crossout. I hate crossout in this deck because the whole point of this deck is that if they hand trap you,
you might cut them for impulse though.
Yeah, I'll probably play Impulse. Impulse is really good in this deck. The only thing that cuts you off is like Veilers. And I don't know if I'd main Nib. I think the change that I would make is cut the Ogres out of the main. And then I would just play like more... I'd probably play like Debugs. Just have more starters. There's just nothing... Like, we're doing a bad Fiendsmith impression, like you mentioned, where you're just doing like normal summon, starter, have extender that's also a starter, bunch of fucking hand traps.
Which works, apparently.
It works.
Yeah,
The best deck in the game does that. Extra deck, pretty straightforward. I played an all-fire extra deck because I'm playing Salamangreat of Fire. Another change I would make is I would play SP. SP didn't come up a lot in my testing just because you would so often go through Mirage Stalio and Salamangreat of Fire before you got to Link material. But some of the times today, like one of the matches I lost against Harmonizer, like Gradiel, and I just didn't have a way to out it. It also would be nice just like on these like really grindy follow-up turns.
There's
where
also Typhon, which is always like a consideration.
Yeah, the extract's really tight because I'm playing Codasol. The Pyro Phoenixes are really good, which I'll get into. So I don't think I'm going to be cutting any time soon.
It's probably the most
3 Balinks.
Extra decks
Don't play less
see.
than this. This is a Link one, and it could have no other text on it, and you would still play it. It just happens to have a lot of good other text on it. I played 5 Link 4s, the 2 Pyro Phoenix, and 3 Raging Phoenix. I also think it's pretty mandatory to play 3 of this. Getting extra deck ripped, getting into grind games, your opponent's going to interrupt you in like weird spots. So having the 3rd copy is really nice. Sometimes you don't get into Jack Jaguar, so like on your follow-up turn, you don't have the Jack Jaguar, shuffle back the other one, relink. So this is just a way to like hard make it. There are many times where like I would burn through my extra deck because we'd be playing like a 6-turn game, and the 3rd one would come up and I would like hard make it and weird stuff like that. 2 Wolf. This card, this was like the amount of times I hard relinked Wolf. Like you can go, one of the ways you can play around Droll is they Droll you and you Gazelle, send Roar, and then you go Promethean Princess, summon back Wolf and Princess into another Wolf, and it's made using itself as material. I did that a fuck ton today. I also just like hard did that a couple other times where like I'd already done this and I gotta go further because it was like obvious my opponent didn't have Nib, and I just do this. Really, really good. Recycling Roar over and over again. People don't know how to beat that shit. Phoenix. This card's dookie butt. This is card I cut for SP. I summoned it 3 times today, and all 3 times it was make this guy unable to be destroyed by battle. By the way, I have this engrave. Oh, by the way, I have another one engrave, and it doesn't matter if it dies. By the way, I have Princess. It's like, this didn't come up. SP is just better. Yeah, I would summon it just as often.
Imagine, SP is a good card.
Promethean Princess, please don't ban this card. Just ban all the Snake Eyes. This card is really, 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 really good in Salamangreat. It's exactly what you want. The only weirdness is if you only make one guy, you kind of have to do this weird thing where you really, really hope they don't have like some sort of graveyard removal, because if you have Roar in this and you activate this and they have some way to stop the guy from coming back, your Roar doesn't do anything. So you kind of want to Roar and then do this. This is kind of like when they start extending, you activate this. Mirage Stalio, the GOAT. This card is so good. The amount of times I like linked this off and I went, bounce your spirit. Or your Phantom, I mean.
Yeah, people do forget
like,
it has
what?
that effect, yeah.
Yeah, no, it bounces. I never did the Horse Prince, summon Ash to add Ash. I never did that, but it came up in testing a couple times. Then Hida. The only time I ever summoned anything off this is I summoned fucking Lopter. Generator Lopter off of this, and it won me the game. But yeah, this card's really, really good. Like I said, I'd cut the Phoenix for an SP. That's where I was kind of
awesome.
Everything else I summoned a million times. I go through my whole extra deck because this deck's grindy as shit.
Are you gonna show us the side deck today?
2 talents, the Rage. Talents is really good card. Turns out putting 3 band cards together is really good.
I am also a big believer of talents in the side deck. Like, you see if your opponent is on hand traps or board breakers, and then you side it,
you're
kind of thing.
Splitting the difference on safe siding. Like, it's a good knob to kind of dial in, where it's like, okay, I have a lot of dead hand traps. Like this matchup, like maybe Ghost Ogre was the most often this came up, where you would tweak a little bit, where you go like, I want 2 nibs instead of 3 nibs because I don't want to draw multiple hard once hand traps. So I'm gonna side this in because then I can hand trap you and then break, that kind of thing. Cosmic, insane. I sided this in like going first and going second against like almost every deck in the game. It stops E-Ray, stops
Skill Drain,
Tenpai, stops Skill Drain, stops fucking Dimensional Fissure, all that stupid crap. Yeah, this card's great. The MVP, this thing, man. The amount of times my opponent would like hand trap the shit out of me, and I still get to Roar, and I go like set 4. Like this is like secretly a trap deck, which is funny because I only play 1 trap in the main. But like that's often what you're doing is you're like, I'm gonna get to my trap every single fucking game. Like I don't care if I send it off Gazelle and bring it back off Wolf. Like I'm going to have a counter trap, and I'm gonna bring that back every single turn of the game. The amount of times that I went like, okay, get hand trapped, set Judgment, set Roar, pass, and like there's nothing they could do. Like there are a lot of times where like they it'd be obvious like they would really need the normal summon to resolve, and you just shotgun this. It's like you don't get a normal summon. Oh, okay, summon Princess. Negate the summon. You can't bring it back. Like that's just crazy. Cards that didn't do anything. Sided this in a lot because I'm playing 18 hand traps. Just really good side in against a lot of decks. There's so many linked decks right now. Every deck I played against. It
feels better in board breaker decks because like, kind of like it's more like I'm gonna make my hand however I want rather than like I'm gonna draw into hand.
Yeah,
traps.
this is like, oh man, I drew 2 nib because I'm bad at the game. Shuffle it back, but I never drew it. I started in like 90% of my matches, never saw it, which is fine. Doesn't mean it's bad. Drill. Never drilled anybody. Time I drew it, got shifted. Didn't matter. Wouldn't have mattered if this was, I don't know. It wouldn't matter. Yeah, just getting shifted.
My yellow.
Yeah. Even call by. It's like they would have had some way to stop it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, deck performed really good. A lot of my games were just grind them down, just as much as humanly possible. Oh, I forgot the best Salamangreat. Salamangreat to be your token. One of the common misconceptions about this deck is that this deck gives a shit about Nib, and if you can play around Nib, almost every 2-card combo plays around Nib, and you can make that choice. Like a lot of people will Nib on Summon 5. Some people like try to hold it, but a lot of time you just go like, well, I don't need the circle, it's in my hand, and you hold on to it, and it's good. This deck's pretty reasonable. I think it's better after the ban list when other decks are a little bit lower powered, and like for example, Snake Eyes, worst grind game. This deck's gonna really thrive on that. But yeah, I think it performed really well. Getting my invite was kind of a surprise. I lost 2 rounds to couldn't do anything to Shifter, and then I drew just one game that like he tried to Lacrima burn me, and I just had like a bunch of like roar and stuff, and I couldn't let him Lacrima burn me, and he just like okay, we just drew. But yeah, I think it performed really well. All my other rounds were I won a lot of rounds 2-0. Surprisingly, there was only a couple of really close matches. But just
apparently, if you have 18 hand traps, you're pretty good going second as well.
Yeah, and like I said, I would tweak. I probably wouldn't play 18 hand traps. Probably play like 16 and go to like 42 and play like 3D.
How many were you playing today?
18.
No, like total deck size.
Oh, 43 cards. Yeah, I was playing 43 cards today. Which I'm a huge believer in playing 40 cards. Like I come from games where you do not play over minimum deck size. So it's really hard for me to do, and I'm kind of glad I did it. I just would tweak the numbers a little bit. I'd probably played 42. I never do Talkatom Ward. That was good. Ghost Mourner. My big goal today was a normal summon Ghost Mourner special Talkatom Ward. Go full combo. Didn't do that, unfortunately, but here we are.
All right. Any last shoutouts?
I want to shout out Gameplay Games in Clarkson, our OTS, Clarkson, Washington. Of course, Aziz behind the camera, and JD who's sleeping. And then the other boys, my dad, Scott Steiner, Steve Cruz, all the other people that play locals and things like that around us. We travel about 6.5 hours to get over here.
We finally
have no regionals over on the Eastern Washington side.
We finally got the hotel room deck profiles.
Yeah, there we go. Well, thank you
One
very
achievement
much.
unlocked. All right. Thank you, Phil. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.